So this prank influencer is looking at possibly 24 years in prison.
I have a very important question for you. Can I shove this up your booty?
Huliin mo yan. Huliin mo yan.
He's not chasing me.
I know.
Hello.
Oh my God. He would even give himself a round of applause when they showed these various clips of his crimes he recorded during his live stream.
It's the kind of story you expect to see in a dark comedy, except it's very real, and it's happening to someone who once built an empire off shock value and risky pranks. Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, the internet's once celebrated wild child, has gone from global fame to global infamy, and now finds himself trapped in one of the most notorious detention centers in the Philippines. No camera crew, no Wi-Fi, just rats, rust, and the crushing weight of reality. And it all began with a scooter, a live stream, and a decision that spiraled into chaos. If you've followed internet culture even casually over the past decade, you probably remember Vitaly. He skyrocketed to fame on the back of outrageous public pranks, intense stunts, and a never-ending need to push the envelope. He wasn't just an entertainer, he was the guy who made viral feel dangerous. But like many online stars who blur the line between performance and provocation, Vitaly couldn't turn it off. And when your entire brand is being the loudest person in the room, eventually that room kicks you out. The story begins, at least the version we're talking about, in the bustling streets of the Philippines, where Vitaly had been traveling and filming content. According to locals, he was making a spectacle of himself, yelling at strangers, mocking customs, disrespecting businesses, and even allegedly trying to commandeer a police officer's vehicle. Not exactly a cultural ambassador.
I have a question for you.
Nanguha ng sombrero ng isang gwardiya.
No, I have a question for you.
At akmang tatangay ng motorsiklo ng isang enforcer.
Huliin mo, kuya. Huliin mo. Huliin mo yan.
Ilan lang yan sa mga sunod-sunod na panggugulo na binidyohan at in-upload pa ng isang dayuhan sa isang commercial at business district sa Taguig.
Worse, it was all being live-streamed, as if he genuinely believed no consequences would follow him. But here's where things shift. This wasn't Los Angeles or Miami. The Philippine government didn't just frown at Vitaly's behavior, they responded decisively. The situation escalated to the point that President Bongbong Marcos himself released a public statement calling Vitaly's actions unacceptable and deeply disrespectful. Imagine that, the literal head of a nation addressing a YouTuber's antics. If that's not a sign that you've gone too far, what is? The message from the president was crystal clear. Don't mistake our kindness for weakness. It wasn't just about one man behaving badly, it was about setting a precedent. And the government made it known they weren't going to be passive observers, so they detained him. Not for a quick slap on the wrist or a fine, but in a way that made it very clear. This was a serious matter. And now comes the twist. Vitaly's being held indefinitely at the Bureau of Immigration Detention Center, a place nicknamed the Gulag by those who've experienced it. No set release date, no deportation timeline, no luxurious influencer cell with mood lighting and vegan meals. Just overpopulated quarters, minimal food, and reportedly horrifying conditions that make even the toughest lockups in the West look like five-star resorts. Sources reveal the living space is so cramped that 3 people are forced to share a single bed. There's no plumbing, rats run freely, and detainees are left to survive on less than the cost of a Starbucks coffee, about 70 pesos a day. Even worse, it's not just violent offenders in there. Many are being held for the vaguest of immigration violations, including people whose only crime was overstaying a visa. And they're locked away for months, sometimes years, without trial. Leaked videos give us a disturbing glimpse inside. One interview, secretly recorded and uploaded by a mysterious source, features an Australian man in his 60s who had been inside for nearly half a year, and he was only being held for overstaying a visa. According to him, what is the average wait? Time for someone like that? 2 years. He described nights without food, a complete absence of medical care, and conditions so bad that fellow detainees were literally dying from neglect. One story in particular is hard to forget. A mentally ill 90-year-old man who passed away from pneumonia after reportedly being stripped of his clothing and routinely doused with cold water by guards. No medication, no sympathy, just isolation. In a rodent-infested shack until his body couldn't take it anymore. It's the kind of tale that makes you stop scrolling and really think about how power, money, and privilege can shape a person's experience. Or strip it away entirely. What's shocking is that Vitaly seems to have entered this chaos with zero awareness of the consequences. Footage from his stream shows him mocking the situation, acting like the main character in a bizarre reality show, even cracking jokes as authorities circled him. He wasn't scared. He wasn't humbled. He was still on, performing for an audience, oblivious to the storm coming his way. And here's the thing. This isn't just a Vitaly problem. This is the culmination of a disturbing trend among clout chasing. Live streamers who treat foreign countries like playgrounds, filming outrageous stunts, pushing social boundaries, and then acting shocked when local authorities push back. Johnny Somali, another controversial streamer, was recently caught up in similar chaos. There's a pattern here, and it's one that can't be ignored. Vitaly isn't the first to learn the hard way that real life doesn't have a comment section. And at nearly 40 years old, it's a little late to be running around pretending the world is your content farm. The people watching aren't laughing anymore. They're cringing. The era of reckless, culturally insensitive IRL content might finally be running its course and not a moment too soon. What's truly ironic is that Vitaly once seemed untouchable. Millions of followers, international fame, and enough viral moments to fill a highlight reel. But all that clout? It means nothing in the real world when you're locked in a 6x6 cell, eating rice out of a tin bowl, and wondering if today's the day your trial will finally start. Or if it'll be another year before anyone even calls your name. The bigger question here is whether Vitaly learns from this, or if it becomes just another lost chapter in the book of early internet stardom gone wrong. People like him and FouseyTube, once seen as pioneers, have now become cautionary tales. Reminders of what happens when fame is pursued without restraint, without humility, and without understanding the real-life impact of your behavior. As of now, Vitaly's future is entirely in the hands of a foreign legal system, and his past success won't help him there. There are no fans to cheer him on, no brand deals to fall back on, and no viral stunt that can undo the damage. His story has become a warning, not an inspiration. So, to every aspiring influencer, streamer, or internet celebrity out there watching this, remember, when you treat the world like a stage and other cultures like props, the fallout doesn't just happen online. It can become your reality. And no amount of views is worth the cost of your freedom. This has been your inside look into one of the wildest collapses of an internet personality we've seen in years. Drop a comment with your thoughts and let me know. Is this the end of Vitaly's story, or just the beginning of a whole new chapter? Either way, the message is clear. Play ridiculous games, and you just might win a one-way ticket to the worst vacation of your life.